folks. Today it's time to talk about adjusting your truss rod on your guitar. Yes, that's the little thing that everybody's afraid to touch for some reason. So I thought I'd break out a guitar neck that actually shows the truss rod on the inside of it. Okay, it actually adjusts at the butt end of it, like a lot of old Fenders do, which means you have to take the neck off of the guitar in order to adjust it, which is guitarded. Okay, you'll see other necks where they have a truss rod cover at the top. Who knows what's lurking under there? On Gibsons, you'll generally find it takes something like a socket wrench looking tool to adjust those. Other ones have something you use an Allen key with, and so forth. And then you'll have the coolest of all that's ever been made is down at the end of the guitar right here will be a little wheel. You can stick anything in there and turn it and turn it and turn it. No, don't turn it too much, you'll bust your rod. And then you have this kind, the bullet truss rod. Okay, you can get right there and work on it right away, which is a beautiful thing. Let me tell you why that's a beautiful thing. If you're out playing, and it's your first time ever playing in front of people, and it's not at your house, you may very well, especially if it's outside, you may very well find out that, hey, your guitar doesn't play correctly anymore. It's because humidity and temperature will wreak havoc on your guitar, and your guitar might be unplayable when you get to the gig. Okay, so you might have to, it's highly probable at a lot of gigs that have extreme changes like that in climate. You might have to adjust your truss rod before you can play the gig. Okay, so it's an easy thing to do and to tell what you have to do. Okay, again, the rod simply goes through the middle. It is slightly curved, so it will make the middle of your neck actually bow up or bow down. Okay, so that means either the front of it will go there towards you or come back towards me. Okay, and it's the middle of the neck that it affects. It doesn't affect the upper part of the fretboard. It doesn't affect up here by the nut. As you can tell, this one isn't even on the first fret. It didn't exist. It affects the middle of the neck. Okay, so when you tighten the truss rod, whether I'm using a screwdriver here, righty, tighty, lefty, loosey thing, when you tighten it, the middle around the 9th fret, 7th fret, right in that area, will actually come up. Okay, so if your neck was like this, it will start to go flat and then actually start bowing the other way. Okay, that is not a good thing. When it's bowing that way, like this, when you're playing all the first few frets all the way up to like 7th or 8th, they will be doing nothing but just buzzing, and that's about it. That lets you know that you have to back that off. If it's too much the other way, you have too much what's called relief in there, and it is bowed too much like this towards you, then you're going to have nothing but buzzes and fart outs all the way from like the 12th fret on up. So you know you're going to have to tighten that puppy up. If you take your guitar, put your finger at the last fret on one of your strings, take your low E string, push down the string, get on the side of your neck, take a look at it, see where the string is in conjunction with the frets, look in the middle. I can barely get a guitar pick, if even a guitar pick, between any of my frets when I do that. So it's almost perfectly straight, the neck is. And you can tell on a guitar where it's really, really bad, you can see an archway underneath the string looking thing. And that means it needs to be tightened up and get as close to straight as it can be without generally being perfectly straight and without having a bow coming out the other way. That's the worst case scenario, is when it's actually bowed out. But yeah, correcting these, it's very easy. It's generally a quarter turn, if that. If it's really severe, yeah, you might have to give it a full crank. So, if you're looking at seeing the string coming across and there's an actual bow in there, come like this, you're going to want to tighten the truss rod. It will actually take the center of the neck and move that up towards your strings. Okay, a lot of people don't like me to explain it like that, but that's what it does. Okay, so it's actually just straightening the neck, so therefore the middle of the neck actually comes up and starts to meet where your strings are. Okay, so if it's really hard to play in the middle, but it's easy at the first part, and it's easy at the end, but it's farting out on you, you'll want to tighten it just a little, check it again, tighten it a little bit, check it again, and if it still needs to go, tighten it a little more until that puppy is pretty much playing evenly everywhere. You might have to readjust your action. Always check your action first before changing your truss rod again. The two have to work hand in hand. Okay, so once you actually have determined by playing and it not farting out at the first few frets and not being way too hard to push in the middle, you will simply, again, tighten the truss rod if it is like this in the middle when you're looking at it when you're pressing the string down. If you look at it and it's high, the action is actually high in the middle, make the neck go up to meet the string. Okay? So that it is the same distance from every fret all the way across. And you should be able to play without any high spots or low spots. Everything will ring out perfectly. And then you could just adjust your action back on the bridge where you're supposed to adjust it. But in a weird way, you're actually adjusting your action via the truss rod, because if you can't play it in the middle because it's too high, you actually adjust your action, quote unquote, by tightening that truss rod up and letting it come up and meet the strings so that they are even all the way across. Okay? So that's what that is. If you do it too much, you're going to get no sound from the first few frets until you pass up like the 7th or 8th fret. Then you'll finally start getting some notes to come out. So you know you need to back that puppy off. And I'm not talking about you hurry up and let's undo the thing a whole bunch of times. No, just back it off a little bit, check it out again, back it off a little more, check it out again until everything plays right. So that's if you're playing up here and everything is farting out on you. That's what you're looking at. You're going to have to loosen it. If it's all farting out up here, chances are you're going to have to tighten it. Okay? It's just because you're pushing down into a valley because it's too much this way. And when you fret at the 7th fret or 9th fret, and all it does is start buzz, 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 or nothing all the way up, yeah, you're going to have to tighten the truss rod, bring the middle of it up, and then check your action, make sure that everything actually clears the frets by a little bit, and just up as high as you want the action to be. I'll show you something. Here's a guitar that does not have a truss rod. Okay, carbon fiber. They asked me if I wanted a truss rod or not when I had them build this specifically for me. And I'm like, why? It will never be anything less than perfect. So I did not have them put a truss rod in it. Acoustics will generally have the truss rod adjustment up here inside. So that's where to look at for them. Some, including Rain Song, which is what this is, actually put it under a truss rod cover up here. But I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I have the lowest action possible on an acoustic guitar. Does it fart out anywhere? No. Does it buzz anywhere? No, nothing. Okay, and that's the low E side. So, amazing. But that's what you want your neck to be. You want it to be, I can press down at the last fret, take a look, and then press down in the middle. And I could not fit much more than 2 pieces of paper between any given fret. And that's a beautiful thing. It plays like flipping butter. Check it out. I can bend any string halfway around the neck and have zero problem with it. So again, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay, again, you tighten your truss rod, whether it be this or whether it be up here, it makes no difference. You're still going to tighten it to make the center of the neck come up. Okay, to try to make everything straight and flat. Okay, most people require just a little bit of relief in it. Means it's still going to be a little tiny bit this way, but nothing that you're going to be able to see. Okay, and the other way, bad. If it bows the other way, you're going to know it. Like I said, it's just going to, you're going to be playing at the first few frets and nothing's going to happen. It's just tink, 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 all the way up to the middle of the neck. Then about time you pass the 12th fret, the notes will start happening again. That means you have that thing tightened up too tight. Okay? So if your action is high in the middle, but it seems fine on the where you play your cowboy chords, and it seems fine way up here on the end, yeah, you need to tighten it up and bring the middle of the neck up to meet the rest of the neck so it's all good and almost straight. So that's the best way for me to explain it to you. Do you need to be afraid of your truss rod? No, not at all. If anything, quite the opposite. Maybe mess with it one time. Check it out. Turn it one way. See what it actually does for you. Turn it the same amount the other way. See what it does to you. And you won't have to ask anymore for somebody else to do it. When you actually do it, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Okay, I understand. So you can dial in your guitar perfect, but like I said, you go outside and go to play, or you go to a different area to go play somewhere, and something will be wrong, and it happens. And you need to diagnose it right quick and hurry up and fix it. You can't take it to the tech. You got to do it yourself then and there. So make sure you have the tool on you that fits your truss rod. Have it in your guitar case or wherever you need it to be, somewhere where you can find it fast. And just remember the things that I've told you. If it's farting out up here, chances are that it is too high and needs to be loosened. Just a little turn. Okay? And if it's really bowed this way in the middle, that means it's going to be farting out on all your high frets. That means tighten it up just a little bit until everything straightens out again. Okay? And it's only going to be a matter of a slight turn either way, from a comfort zone to a unfamiliar zone for your guitar. Wood is wood and it bends, and it acclimates. So you might get to a gig and it's okay, but halfway through the gig, it will be unplayable. It happens. So you get to fix it during your 15-minute break, or you go ahead and take 5 minutes, and that's all you need, or less. If you have your tool on hand, stick it in there, give it a yank, one way or the other, whichever you need after me explaining this to you, and it should straighten out within seconds. Don't overdo anything. Like I said, you'll just need like a little crank one way or the other in a circumstance like that when you're just going to go play somewhere else. Don't expect it every single time, because it's not going to be that way, but it will happen. And you'll need to know, yeah, I can do this. Okay? So I know a long explanation for that. But again, that truss rod in the middle is curved a little bit. So it's actually taking that bend in the rod and it's spinning. And that makes the neck bow one way or the other way. Or you get it right by its side and it is flat and it is straight. So you need to relieve the pressure and let the middle sink in, or you need to tighten it up and bring the middle back up to make it straight with both of the ends. Okay? So that is that in a nutshell. Okay, I've talked long enough. I'm Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. Y'all stay groovy. I always am, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right? Take care.